think that's it. Is that it? Oh, I got a knife, got a wallet, receipt. I don't need that. We need some tools. We need spray tank. And we're doing this. It's a Grand Cherokee. I knew it was a Grand Cherokee. I didn't confuse that with a Jeep. Or with a regular Cherokee. Of course not. We're doing the front doors. And the full windshield. 50 on the windshield, 20 on the front doors. Got a little bit of cleanup work to do. Swap out some blades. Make sure stream is streaming. I should have got my spray tank set up though. Good. Good. All right. Gotta click some buttons. So we'll click this one. Sup. And then we'll click this one. Oops. Oh, we're not even here. Forgot, I gotta open it up first. I'll let that simmer for a second. How's business? Oh, it stayed fairly consistent. But I'll tell you, through the wintertime, into the early spring, we were definitely slower. And one of the biggest things we did was just a mix of ads and Tintly. Just being more organized, being able to get back to people, sending them quotes super quickly. Like all those little things helped. But ads was nice, so we were just getting more leads. Jack's doing the phones now. He used to work here, he's back. So he's just really good at following up with people. If you miss a call, he calls them back. He doesn't let anything go like unanswered. Okay. I forgot to do an audio sync test. Like 50. Yep, that's spot on. What year is the Jeep? Like a 2013? Something like that. I'll double check on the other side. The dash is pretty screwed up around the front. It's what I would see window tinters post about. I'll show you. Just an older one, looking to get some carbon on it. Nothing crazy here. Oh yeah, I gotta leave this on. But, see like the dash area? Some dashes are just really, really sensitive to water and whatnot. I haven't tinted this. Nobody's tinted this. It's just an older Jeep Dash that failed in the sun. So I've definitely seen posts where people tint them looking okay and then they shrivel up. So you always got to be careful around. I don't know what it is about Chrysler products, but is this good? Is this working? There we go. Now it's working. It's a Grand Cherokee. All right. Let's finish getting some things set up. I gotta change out my spray tank, but I might as well get things going with it. Oh, you can see the edge of the glass there. So we don't want to tuck too far up on this. You see that? See where the edge of the glass is? This will probably shift a little bit in there. Oh, not too much. But I don't want to tuck too far forward in that, or else you're over the front edge. So just inside that front edge. Crazy how AI changes you online in 41 years. AI likes businesses around all the long time. Yeah, we've done a lot with it. I just redid the entire 313 store with it, and I've been able to do things on that site that I've been wanting to do, but would be very custom and expensive. And there's another thing that I'm going to try here. I was going to try it right before the stream. We have an app that we pay for that prints orders out automatically. When somebody places an order, you wouldn't think this would be difficult, but then the order comes out on the computer. Pretty simple. I just had it make one so that I don't have to pay monthly on the other one. And you can just kind of do stuff like that. So it's pretty crazy. What's up? Is this a little like, let me wipe this off. There. Now it's less spray-y. It's just crazy the types of things that you can do now. But you can make your own like super helpful business tools. Basically, like just like tailor fit it to what you do. So nice. It's funny. Coding was one of those things that I always regretted not learning. It's like I'd be so much better off if I knew. Now you don't have to. it helps to have an understanding, but yeah, nowadays you don't have to. You can just build shit, and you can build it way faster. Still needs like work and bugs and all that, but it's crazy. Okay. Let me swap out the water on my tank. I'll grab a spray bottle, I think, while this is changing out. Come on, spray tank. Wow, really? That's the most stuck I've ever gotten. There we go. All right, headphones. What's going on with you today? Let's turn off Bluetooth. And hopefully I won't regret that. Connect, damn it. What do you use mainly? GPT, Gemini? If I'm just asking a question, I typically just pop into GPT. But I'm using Replit to make stuff. And there's quite a few to sort through. And dude, the landscape just changes so fast. But it's really good. So when you talk to an AI and you want it to do like some type of coding for you, 20. Having one AI try and process and do everything will often break everything, and you have to keep like asking it and fixing it, and you're like, wow, this is garbage. But if you use like an agent system, so what something like a Replit does is you have like your main agent that you talk to, and then it assigns tasks. So it has like, it breaks it up into chunks and hands it off to like agents, and then it has like a code review process. So it goes through a lot more validation and checking. It definitely doesn't get everything right all the time. You still have to like, no, this doesn't work, or this isn't how I wanted it, or whatever. And that adds up. There's cost to it all. But man, it's so helpful for doing stuff. I want to see if my order printer works. But yeah, on the store, oh, this was built by that community section built into the website. I've just been able to do really helpful things, like simple things, like add comparison charts, cost estimations, visuals, just lay everything out. Dude, I've dug through every theme, and they all like have something that I want to put in like another theme or whatnot. So we use like Shopify for the store. And they have a really good system, but you always find stuff that you're like, man, I wish it did this. And this is my ability to like basically do anything that I need to do now. We're almost there. We're almost there. We actually don't need that much water. We're doing front doors and a windshield. It's warm out. I'm gonna do like 2.5. 2.5 ounces. I did a little less water in here. Doesn't need to be spot on. I can always use more. But yeah, like getting a shop website, dude, you can like whip one up that's halfway decent in minutes now. You just gotta be careful though. You can make something like a lot of them start to look the same. Like when I was shopping around for a contractor, I came across a few like AI built contractor websites, and I could just tell. It's like everything about this is AI. Calling from TikTok shop. What? Don't they know I'm live right now? Is that like actually somebody calling from TikTok? That's weird. That's never happened before. Ooh, that was almost bad. All right. Back to tinting. So we're going to double cut these 20%. Calling from TikTok shop. I'm calling because a new early settlement service that I wanted to discuss with you. Oh. I thought it might be like, oh, we saw your store, we like it. No, it's a program thing. It's okay. Are these lined up right? No. Ooh, I'm glad I caught that. I thought they were lined up. One is a little bit higher. I tacked them together. I should shift that down. Swipe. Use AI for advertising or marketing. I haven't gotten that far, no. But it would be incredibly helpful at making funnel pages and telling you all types of stuff that would be best practices. I'm sure you could find way more than that. That would be very helpful. There's still like some people are gonna think it's just as like, oh, I just tell it to do a thing and then it just does the thing. It's like it's a tool that you can work with and use and just get something pretty substantial very quickly. Is generally what I see. Some things it's really good at, some things it's not so great at. But if I was looking into doing ads, I'd just start asking about ads, and then you can take screenshots of what you're doing and feed it back and get like actual feedback about, oh, I'd probably do this, I'd probably change that. Slide it over. A little bit less, right about there. I remember I don't want to tuck too far into this edge. Slide it back, right like so, and tuck it in. Squeegee that down. I like it. quotes and estimates. It's been very useful. Yeah. Yeah, be incredibly good at that. Mark did a really cool flat glass proposal for somebody. And then another thing is when he was bidding the job, he left like the voice option open. So he just talked through like the entire estimate. And so then he had something already like laid out, ready to go. It just makes people more efficient. So like if you're a person that does stuff, you're like, I have no idea how to do that. It just helps you do so much more. And then you get more done. So yeah, I definitely went through some good time periods of using it a lot, not really using it at all, and then for fucking building tools, like holy shit. All right, so I got two patterns here. Separate that. Ta-da! I've been practicing my window tint, but I'm struggling with corners. Somehow I keep creasing them. Well, stay tuned. We have a full windshield to do on this. Creasing windshields is very normal. I'll try and help today as much as possible. All right, what do we got here? I've got some towels. This is the darkest you would go on a full shield. I mean, I've gone darker than 20 or 35, but 35 is typically what I'll tell people. And most of the time, it's fine. But the problem is some of the time, it's sketchy. So like a 20 or a 15. On a clear night, clear day, it's easy enough to see through. It's when rainy, rougher conditions all of a sudden spring up and then there's just nothing you can do about your windshield. That's when it's dangerous. Yeah, the heat gun on high or low when you snap shrink. It's always on high. So, heat gun farther away. I can always make it extra hot. But I look at the film, turn on the heat gun, and I just gradually move it closer until I hit that distance where I see the film doing something. No matter what temperature your heat gun is, if you can shrink the film, you can burn the film. What percentage would you recommend for taillights? You know, I don't have a good answer for you. I don't know percentages, but it sounds like a 20. I just don't tint taillights, so I haven't looked at the films in a long time. But a medium shade is probably what you would want. Had 20% for exactly one rainy night. Yep. That's really it. It's like most of the time, it's bright sunny day. You're like, oh, this is awesome. And then it just gets, drive down a glossy wet road, raining out. It's tough to see. You're like, fuck. This is bad. So it's not like that all the time. It's just here and there, that'll happen. So 35, I didn't have an issue in like any driving conditions. Bright headlights, 35, really, really nice. Find it easier to buy the taillights that come tinted already. Yeah, they have a lot of those now. But I can appreciate tinting taillights. It was personally something I never got asked very much about. That's what I'm looking for. So when I spray this window, it's not that bad, but there's a little bit of water separating from the, like, beading up. So what I'm doing with the torch, I'm just gonna start saying what I think it is. I'm gonna heat treat the window. Especially when they get some age on them. There could be products sprayed on the doors that are also then building up on the window. But for whatever reason, the water will start to bead on certain windows. And you can take a scrubbing compound, which is gritty and more time consuming, and then there's cleanup afterwards, or you can just hit it with a torch. And then when I spray it, my slip solution actually stays where I spray it. Why is the tint so low? Oh yeah, a little bit. I should probably fix that. Wait, it's getting installed. We're right about to put it there. Is ceramic the way to go? Ceramic is a way to go, and it depends on what you want. Ceramic has the best heat performance. That's the biggest differentiator between any film, other than clarity and longevity. The type of material is going to impact how much heat it blocks, but you can have different grades of everything. So you can have good carbon that's clear, or you can have shitty carbon that's hard to see through. So ceramic will just block out the most amount of heat, and you can get good or bad versions of them. Would you ever need to torch newer cars? Yeah, for sure. And I genuinely don't think it's an aftermarket like hydrophobic coating. I just think with age, I mean, could be product sprayed on doors, like I said, like gets on the glass, but like something makes the glass become hydrophobic. I see it more often on older vehicles. You spray your slip, and then the water just sticks. But that'll happen from time to time on newer ones too. It's not any make or model that stands out more. It just happens. So I spray the window, and as soon as I see that, I just hit it with a torch, and it's quickly fixed. Let's tuck this forward a little bit. Don't do that, don't do that. There we go. Don't you hate that? You get it like really, really close, and then it's a little far away, and then that's when it freezes. You're like, fuck. What's the rule on sunroofs? I hear yes, I hear no. I hear reflective film only. I want to see the pictures of exploding sunroofs because everybody's got somebody that's like, don't do sunroofs. I think do whatever you want. People are tinting them every day, and I see more people breaking Ford mirrors than I've ever seen of a sunroof. So a reflective film would be nice because you're reflecting heat away from it, but like on this one, for example, this has a tinted sunroof. If you wanted to put a ceramic film on it, yeah, absolutely. Now there's ones that make a little less sense, like a Tesla roof. They have ceramic in the glass and they're already like really, really dark. So adding a ceramic film is just going to absorb more heat into the glass. It's not going to make it cooler. So a reflective film makes more sense, and that's what I did on my Model 3. I put a reflective film on the roof, kept the roof 40 degrees cooler. It was really nice. But I would treat that more like a wrap than I would window tint. It was window tint, but with like a wrap mentality. Like I'm putting this on the outside. You obviously could do one on the inside, but I put it on the outside because that's like, I didn't want the ceramic to start absorbing. I just wanted it to try and reflect as much right away. It was cool. Literally. Gio was freezing tight during a job last night. I need AC in the shop, I think. And I don't have a great answer other than more soap, tint slip, torching a window. Tint gels are helping with that. But yeah, Gio is always, like, adhesives are aggressive. They're not the only ones, but a lot of adhesives are aggressive. And so they just don't give you much slide. Makes installing harder. But yeah, that like, it just bites the glass, like it slides for a little bit. You haven't tacked it, and then it just bites to the window. That drives me crazy. But even with the gels though, I don't know. It's still got that same type of bite here and there. I can offset it some, but only for so long. How do you go live? My setup's a little complicated, but you can just click the go live. Sometimes you need over a certain amount of followers to do that. But it should be pretty simple. How did you start to learn Tint? I was gifted. Just opportunity. I was at my dad's shop. He wasn't a window tinter, but he owned an auto accessories company called Ameristar. And I had been working there for a while doing detailing and other stuff, just grunt work. And then the window tinter we had, he was really good. He'd do so many cars in a day. He was fast. He quit just over the weekend. And so they kind of scrambled together and asked if I wanted to learn. And I've just been doing it ever since. I use Geo. Right now we're using their C2 Carbon. So same thing here. It's a little bit more beaded. Do you have to have the TikTok Live app for the Meta glasses? No, those are completely separate. TikTok's like super closed down. Meta doesn't do live streaming on any of the new glasses. It wasn't very good, so I think they just discontinued the feature. See, that's better. Now, on the flip side, that also makes the glass hot. So when you torch, you should probably let the glass cool, and something I didn't do much with the other side. So I'll probably wait a little bit longer on this side. It doesn't heat the glass drastically. No, it just gets a little toasty. So the glue is then softer and sticks a little faster. So I'm gonna let that, I'm gonna scrape it and I'm gonna let it cool off a bit. There we go. And we'll just let it sit for a little bit. So, in the meantime, I got a few other little things that I can work on. How hard would it be to actually burn the glass? I would search. I don't know how you could find it. It popped up in my feed one day. There was a guy that took a torch on a windshield, and he just held the torch there for a little while. You got to get it really hot. You got to be doing something like just very stupid to cause any type of actual damage to the glass from a torch. Like you're just sitting there holding it on a spot and not thinking. But on a laminated window, the laminate, so it's like there's a laminate literally inside, like a plastic layer. And that will start to bubble first. Untempered, it would just shatter. All right, I'm gonna tuck this in. Yeah, some cars hit 100 plus. I took a thermometer outside during the summertime to compare like what I did with the sunroof versus the rear. My glass would regularly be 150 plus degrees in the summertime. And I'm not in the hottest state, so it's can probably 170, 180. Shit can get toasty. We got some stuff we gotta clean off the windshield too. A couple stickers down here. Old sticker up there. Okay. Okay. Make sure that's off. Do they not have a stick on this side? Huh, I must have bumped that then. Oh, this is a twist off, isn't it? Oh, this one's goofy. What the heck? Hang on. Doesn't it have a housing on here? Yeah, this is the twist off style. I think. Looks like a twist off to me anyways. Yep. See that? Twist off with a lot of attachments is what that is. That one's definitely on the goofier side, for sure. Got the back hatch here. Unplug that. And then there's a zip tie I'll just have to cut. Got my Ninja. I think it's the only pair of scissors. These were not a very good choice. The samurai swords. Weak. Oh yeah, these are piddly. Really? They got fucked up that quickly? Well, those will sit there then. I don't like doing this, but we'll do it. Got it. New client called a bit ago, bought Tint on Amazon. Try myself. Now I'm calling you. Some of those make really good customers. Because then they're like, man, it's just not that easy. And then they have a much greater respect for what you do. Okay, so that window's clean. It's shrunk. Ready to install. So let's go ahead and install this one. And then I'll work on the windshield. What do you think about Solar Guard? Like a lot of film companies, I don't have anything against Solar Guard. Their film tiers just didn't make much sense to me. They have four main ones, so they had so many automotive films, and they still have more than four. But they took a look at their lineup, and they made 4 films, and they've got some charts about them. Endeavor, Solstice, Endeavor, Vortex, and Zenith. Solstice and Endeavor are pretty close to each other. It's not a big performance gap. Pricing is similar. But when you get into Vortex and Zenith, pricing just like, it's like you have 2 over here, nothing in the middle, and then 2 over here, as far as pricing goes. And Vortex was comparable to C2 ceramic, but more expensive. And Zenith was like much more expensive and comparable to Apex. So they were just a little confusing. They need one more like right in the middle. Pricing, specs, everything. Just like put it right in the middle. Okay, that worked better. I should have just left it. You know? Oh wait, we're good. No, we're not. Just kidding. We gotta trim it just a little bit. Let's see if we can. I don't know if we'll be able to pull this off super well. It doesn't always go well for me. I double cut from the passenger side. And on this one, the top edge is not the same as that side. The window's still like the same dimensions. It's just this cut. So it's either aftermarket or that's aftermarket or quality control. Do you have a computer program for? Yes, I do. But I definitely don't always use it. This is a really good example. There we go. That might have actually worked out okay then. Oh yeah, that's nice. That'll work. As long as it turned out clean. This is actually a really good example of a window that isn't the same on one side versus the other. I'm going to make sure this is heated up. But I double cut it from that side. And that window has a different top edge by a little bit from this window. So I just left it over the top, trimmed it off on the inside. Sometimes that goes well, and sometimes that does not. Pull out our liner. Tuck, tuck, tuck. Is there a particular solution to cleaning the windows without damaging the tint? Ammonia-free glass cleaners are the only thing to really stay, like harsh chemicals. Most glass cleaners are fine, but some have ammonia, and they typically say it right on the bottle, and you can definitely smell ammonia. Like the most notable is Windex. And that was a very popular one. It's an ammonia-based glass cleaner. So if you just stay away from that, you can use a lot to clean it. I'm starting to not get specks in my corners. Nice job. It's a grind. We've all been through it. Tint is stupid and frustrating on so many levels. But you eventually work through those issues. You still always have issues, but it gets better. Most days. Not every day. Paper towel? Paper towel works. I've just never been a fan. But yeah, paper towel works. What's the best light to use when cutting brows and windshields? I don't cut. The magnetic lights are cool. Anything that'll stretch across and stay in place is good. I don't like cutting directly on the windshield, so I use Glass-Aid tape along the edge, and I'm going to set it up on this. So I do the same thing with windshield strips. I just don't want to take a blade to the windshield anymore. Not unless I'm trying to be like super precise. That's the only time you'll see me really use it. Like if I'm doing an Audi windshield, I'll still use Glass-Aid and then I'll make like a really close cut directly on the window because it's just tolerances can be so tight and I want to see exactly where that edge is. What's the magnetic? There's a bunch of them now. These ones, they work, but this one is kind of like shitty and cheesy. It's clearly 3D printed. But this like, oh, I sprayed my windshield. It works, but it still falls off kind of easy if you move too fast. All right, where's my Scrub It? Where's my Scrub It Mini? Probably my most misplaced thing because I use it with a Libman squeegee. And then I set it down somewhere. And then I immediately forget where I set that down. Where is it? Oh, I'll just grab a different one. I'll find it. Probably put it down by my stuff. Somewhere. Here's the pads. I struggle windshield back glass, but I'm getting there. I just shrunk a Pontiac G6. I had some issues, but I got it. Nice. I miss tinting the G6s. Those were really fun. Just like a good, straightforward car. Those are my best days. What do you got on the schedule? A G6, a Malibu, an Impala. Sign me up. I'm glad I haven't seen Grand Prix in a long time, though. They're not that bad. Back window's just huge and annoying. I used to get those so fucking often. Then the Charger took its place. What's you doing? I'm tinting. Chilled and skilled. So sticker, I think this is a 13. So it's got some age on it. Stickers can be anywhere. Oh, they got two. I wonder if one of them's bad, one of them's good. One of them's for 2 car wash stickers. Charger windows are tough to do. Not when you do 100 of them. Sorry, more than that. Way more than 100. That sounded like a lot. That's not. Like fucking thousands of chargers. Good God. Yeah, they were for a long time. They were one of the hardest most common cars. And now I just don't, I don't hardly see them here. I still see them driving all around here. They don't want to spend much money. Towel and soap rope, or just towel? I, more often than not, just use the towel. If I have a good amount of extra space, then I put a rope. But these towels, they soak up a lot of water. So I don't have a reason to stuff a rope in there. Some people don't use the towel like I use it, though. The rope is something that you can definitely tuck into like every windshield, but what I like to do is take the towel and actually get it to lay flat and tuck into the dash. So this acts as a rope, and these are denser towels. That reminds me, we need to put some on the site. We don't stock those. Those are Geo towels. I don't understand nothing. What percent? We're gonna do 50 on the windshield. How much would you pay for software? I currently pay $200 a month. I would pay more than that. But it's got to be really good. And that's what Core is. Xpel is locked down to... Xpel was the other software pattern database that was really good. Software Suite wasn't as good as Core's. Core has like a much cleaner software suite and interface. DAP was never like very good in that. They just had really good patterns, and the most the most I really care about is, do the patterns fit? And then I really don't have to do much else other than put them on a cut board and rotate them. But if the patterns fit, I don't, there's no reason to resize them. So Core's really good on everything. I just saw a couple weeks ago, DAP raised their prices again. They're $300 a month for tint only. That's to their dealers. They don't let somebody like me use their software. Does any software work with the workhorse plotters? I believe every software works with the workhorse plotters. What camera? This is a little action cam. It's the DJI Action 6. It's like a GoPro. Looks good. This side cleaned up nice. Is that on the inside? Oh, that was on the inside. Sorry, I'm really making sure that's clean. You never know. Windshields always kick my butt on that. I get bored of, I hate taking a 1-inch razor blade because they're slow. But it's thorough. You just gotta take your time with it. Getting my windshield tinted tomorrow, but the shop won't cut out the spot for my registration sticker. Is it safe to carefully cut out a spot after it's installed? If it's a paper one, it'll just get destroyed while they're installing it. Can't you just get another registration sticker? We don't have those here, so I'm not sure. I don't know why they wouldn't just cut out a square. But if you can remove it safely, then you can just put it on. Like, if you can remove it safely, you can put it on there. But if you destroy it, yeah, just get another one and then put it on the tint afterwards. Ew. Oh, what's the best windshield tint to use? Air 80 or just any good 70? Just any good 70 if you want to go that light. We're doing 50 right now. I just did Pro Nano 70. Pro Nano 70 is the favorite of what I have. I like it more than Apex, but it, like, subtle thing. If you want a light blue color tone, and it's very light, you go with Apex. And then Pro Nano still has more of the, like, the factory, like, greenish coloring to it. So, like, it doesn't add anything to the windshield. He said he didn't. And we'll keep that one. I'm gonna get this other one off. They're probably both no good. He didn't say he had to keep one of them. He said he just needed them removed. Okay, so I gotta swap this blade out too. New blade. But that's the thing about stickers and the t-shirts. It's like you run it across the dots and push against like old adhesive and whatnot. They lose their edge pretty quick. So I'll sometimes go through a couple. Difference between Pro Nano Ceramic and C2 70. Okay, so C2 Ceramic 70 is the weakest. Pro Nano 70 is the best, and Apex Ceramic lags slightly behind Pro Nano. And it's weird, I know, but I have history. So this is only for Pro Nano 70, not in any other film or shade that GeoShield has. Pro Classic and Pro Nano are some of the oldest films that GeoShield still carries. Pro Nano 70 used to be called, what am I looking? Pro Nano Ultra, and there was just one film, 70%, and it was in a separate category, but it confused a lot of people because they would look for Pro Nano in a 70, and they're like, I saw you only had 50 and darker. It's like, no, leave the main and go Pro Nano Ultra, and then you'll see the 70. Then they carried Apex, C2 Ceramics, C2 Carbon. Like, they brought all those films on over the past handful of years. So it just made more sense to simplify Pro Nano and just lump it all together. But in my C2 ceramic cabinet, I have Pro Nano 70. I don't carry C2 70, I carry Pro Nano. It's going to cost the same, and it's going to be dramatically better. So for those of you that didn't know, now you do. It's a if you know type of thing. Nobody will deny it or whatever. It's just, it's hard to set up on a website in a way that it explains it nice and simple for everybody. So basically, if any of my customers come in and they're like, yeah, I'm thinking of doing a 70 windshield, then I point out Pro Nano 70 instead. Yeah, we got some stubborn adhesive down there. Would it make the tint peel? Sorry, I know you guys aren't seeing much. Would it make the tint peel if I have to cut out a square? I just bought a roll of C2 Ceramic 70. I'm sorry. You're not the first person. But this is the funny thing though. So you might like, why don't they just get rid of the 70%? And why don't they just make it more clear that Pro Nano's better? It's because it's for the same reason that C2 ceramic still exists. When you have a thing, there will be people that use it, that like it, and they'll like it better than the other one. So if they discontinue it, they'll all of a sudden get blown up with, oh, why don't you have C2 Ceramic 70? I like that one. I like it more than Pro Nano 70. Why? I don't know. There just will be. All right, so we're just lining this up just past the edge. I don't need to be super careful on this one. I have some margin on the sides. So ideally, this edge is lined up right at the ends of the dots. So when I cut in the tape, I have just a nice little overlapped border. But I got lots of space on the Jeep here. What kind of tape is that? This is Glassade Cut Guard. When we go to trim out the windshield, we're going to cut directly on that tape. Then I'm not dragging a knife around the windshield. Keeps things safe. Spritz the windshield. We're going to wet a dryer sheet. This is a Snuggle. It smells fresh. Pure Michigan. What a slogan. It's not positive, it's not negative, it is what it is. It's pure Michigan. Okay, now we let that dry before we can do anything else. I can take a heat gun, I can speed that up. I'll typically prep the glass and then clean the inside, but because I had so many stickers down here, I wanted to make sure that that was very clean before we couldn't see the inside anymore. How long should I hand cut until I get a plotter? Just whenever your budget allows. There's no reason to have to wait. You just want to be careful of relying too heavily on it. Because it's really easy to get lazy. You can definitely do things faster in the beginning with a plotter. You're just always going to have to know how to hand cut. You're going to cut something out. It's not going to line up, or not going to line up near as nicely as you can make it. That's all. You're going to have some new cars that just aren't in the software yet. Almost there. Just going to make sure that everything's dry. So when I drag my finger through it, there isn't a wet line. It's just that tacky, waxy dryer sheet. That's all left behind. We want that residue there. I'll spend 3 days editing a window before I hand cut. Respect. You should probably start charging a subscription yourself then. Your own edited patterns that fit better than they ever cared to. Yeah, I use Core too. Core's really good. Except some older vehicles. That's gonna be everybody. Little background. Core is an Eastman product. They own Lumar and Suntech. Lumar and Suntech had their own. Let me just double check. Am I out of 50? Like for real? For real? Oh, I thought this was 5. This is 50. Oh. Okay. Well, I don't want to open a new one when I got an open one. That's silly. I thought it was 5, though. So, Eastman owns Lumar and Suntech. They had their own software suites. Suntech had TrueCut. Lumar had Precision Cut. And they were okay. I remember TrueCut being pretty good though. I think we used it for a year. Then they called the shop that I was working at. They're like, hey, we noticed you don't use Suntech. We weren't gonna pull in Suntech. And so then they cut us off from the software. Big corporate film companies have a tendency to do that. They were more interested in trying to sell you film than selling you software, and so they were always trying to use software as a way to get you to use their film. They reformed under Core, and then been working and building that for a number of years. They reopened it to let anybody use the software suite, but they charge people that aren't dealers, like Lumar or Suntech, they charge us more to use it. So not a huge difference though, because it's $200 for window tint. PPF is much more expensive though. PPF was $450. Now it's $600. Like PPF and window tint combined. Crazy. Their software for window tint used to be $150, and then they raised it to $200. I just never had, that didn't bother me. $50 increases, whatever. It's a business tool. So many business softwares just like, for whatever reason, charge way more on arbitrary things. All right. But tint softwares make sense. They genuinely put a lot of effort into their patterns, and it shows. Workhorse 53 be sufficient. Yeah, I used a Workhorse for a while. The plotter works fine. Have you tried Scorpion? Years ago. I don't have anything new to say about it. I haven't seen anything bad about it. I haven't tried their scan software. I don't know who they got to deal with. But software suites are a lot like window film in that you have only so many actual original databases, and then you have other softwares that are just either paying a license or just reskinning the software suite entirely. Yeah, I don't know what they're like offering free software. They've said they're gonna charge something for it, but it's not gonna be very expensive. It's probably just to advertise to you more, if I had to guess. And I have no idea whose database that they're using. Their film's been But hell, if they'll let you use their software, that's awesome. They take your ideas into consideration. That's cool. Yep, everything gets fit on the outside, and then it gets put on the inside. So see how that side lays all nice and smooth? This side still has all these big fingers and ripples in it. I need this film to have the same curve as the glass. And the way to do that is heat shrinking. Okay, so top corners, this one doesn't have a really pronounced bad top corner here. But where people run into issues is they get like a finger here, and then they start to push inwards and bunch up the film right here. You never want to push inwards. Always think of it from the middle out. Because what we're actually doing is we're not getting rid of the air bubbles. We're shrinking the film to fit the curve, and then we're checking it by stretching it flat on the windshield. So if you see these curves here, they're not just going straight up, they're actually coming this way. So I'm just going to coast them out that way. And we cannot shrink out the sides. So if a finger pops up on the side, you just direct it upwards, flatten it out, and then you continue to shrink in the upward direction. But once the film is actually shrunk, you look at it and you go, which way would these waves go if they were heading into a shoreline? When I do that, it gets creased. I know. And that's where it's hard to say exactly what you're doing wrong. That's why we teach classes here. But we point out the exact same thing. It's just those simple rules. It's like, I do that, it creases. It's like you're not doing something that you should be doing, and you just don't see it yet. There's a lot of things that just people don't notice. They'll leave the film like flipped up on the side and then they'll just shrink it like that. Don't do that. We have very simple instructions. It's tack it in the middle, just tack it on the sides, just take all your fingers that pop up everywhere and just organize. So flat here, flat there, just to start. And then you take the heat gun, turn it on, point it at the fingers, and then you just move the heat gun closer until you start to see it shrinking. And then once, like, watch. Let me give you a better angle here. So we put this towards the fingers. I don't see it shrink, I don't see it shrink, I don't see it shrink. Oh, now it's starting to shrink, so I'm going to hold it at that distance and just give it a little time to shrink. And I'm going to move it across until I see these light ocean waves. Once I start to see them, you don't need to heat it anymore. The only thing that the card does is you match it up with the wave and just use it to pull the film flat. And you see this little wave, if it were a little ocean wave, it'd go in this direction, go right out the side. So that's exactly where I'm going to push it, just right out the side there. You sounded like a disappointed dad. Thanks. Don't do that. So when you get to the fingers at the very end, you're going to need a lot more heat. So go in, go farther, 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 farther. Oh, no. Now I see it shrink. And I'm within like 2 or 3 inches. Where for this, I was more like 5 to like 5 to 8, anywhere in between there. Do you still use the felt cards? No, not much. This has become my favorite one. Seems to be the one that most people at the classes like. It's a nice in-between. Felt cards, the reason I really liked them was because they were like super forgiving. Let's make sure that's on. They were super forgiving. If you had a speck in between the film, with a hard card, you would just rip through it. So in my early days, I would just wipe off a back window with the towel. I would use like a gold hard card, and then every once in a while, I would get to the last little bit, and then that's where a speck would be, and I'd rip right through the film. It would drive me crazy. And then I came across those felt cards. At the time, a MacTac, and that was life-changing. I was like, oh, now I can just skip over any little specks that are there. But what I didn't think of was like, hey, dummy, squeegee off the window before you dry your sheet it and throw your film on there. So with a squeegee, you take every speck off the window. So, but I still like these pros cards better. This suede buffer is super nice, and the card has like they have softer ones, but this one has like a medium flex to it. They're just really good. What's up?
You went last night to class,
Okay.
so that's all. Just so he probably will talk to you about it.
Okay.
Check out. Maybe August, because it's probably I think it's filled.
Okay. Oh, if you can hang around for a little while. I gotta wrap up this windshield. I'll probably be another like 15, 20 minutes or so.
Yeah, that's cool. No problem.
50 or 70? 50. See, we're just trimming right on the tape. Keeps the blade off the window. Then I'm gonna take my border, peel this off. Oh, I haven't tried the new. I'm assuming they just take the same stuff and put it in a box. I haven't heard anything different. Do the tint shops get in trouble for putting windshield tint since it's illegal? No, it's the people that drive with illegal tint. Some states, they do have things for tint shops. But it's not blanketly illegal. Michigan's legal with a doctor's note. So if you have an eye condition, skin condition, and you legitimately need it, there's two things that you can do. You can get a doctor's note, and you can actually have it put on your license as a legal restriction, which means that you have to drive with window tint. And if you get pulled over and you don't have window tint on your windshield, then you can get a ticket for it. Cops can ticket some states for things hanging in your mirror. Yep, they just call it an obstruction. Who's getting 5% on the windshield? Don't do that. There's there's a limit to it being what I'd say is probably stupid. I have I have 3% over 20%, and then 20% on the windshield with a 3% strip. My God, man. If you do have a doctor's note, is there a limit? Not in the state law. I have to imagine that the same type of write you a ticket for an obstruction would probably just, they'd throw that out there like, oh yeah, it's too dark, even though they don't have an actual measurement for it. So it might be something you have to take to court. On that, I'm genuinely not sure what the limit is, because there isn't a limit that's specified. But different states will have different laws. So I know Michigan state law pretty well. I don't know every state. Battery. Ooh, 22%. We're still okay. Why are there wrinkles? What do you mean? There's no wrinkles. It's perfect. It's perfectly clear. There's no haze. It's the dryer sheet. There's a snuggle on the windshield. I'm not. I don't want to start war. I'm not a fan of the film brand. But one's gonna block out more heat than the other one. That's gonna be the difference.
License. It was 35%.
Oh shit. My Apple headphones like to skip around everything. You had to remove it Because to take my license, it was 35%. Oh, that's sad. I like 35%. I use GeoShield. No, it's a. Sorry, I don't want to. I don't want to get too much into it. Too much attention. You'll probably be fine with either one. Just not a fan of the company. What happened to your fancy keg sprayer? I'm using a keg, but the hose reels, they're harder to clean out. So my fancy setup on the wall has been sitting for a while. Peel, spray. Ooh. Ooh, careful. Don't want to get too carried away with that. There we go. Should I try and tint my own car? It doesn't hurt to try. Some people do a really good job. They just like have a knack for it, they pay attention, and they like doing it. I'd never discourage somebody from trying. But it's also like a skilled trade. So a lot of people don't get it good, including me, their first try. And can take a lot of people a lot of practice. So if you want to just, hey, I'm going to try it, go nuts, man. If you want like guaranteed, going to turn out good, no, probably not. But you learn a lot when you do it. I've wasted a lot of time in film. And I'm hoping to not do that right now. We never know, do we? All right. Tuck, tuck, tuck. Oh, you got a tint cut from trying to roll the film like that? Like twist it? They happen from the dumbest things. They're so annoying. They don't hurt, they just don't stop bleeding for a while. You're like, oh, what the fuck? Can't tell you how many times that would randomly happen. And I'd be working on a car with a light interior. And I'm like, oh, great. Let's bleed all over the tan interior. Give it a little more slack on the bottom here. Why are chameleon tints more expensive? I don't know. They just are. Cheap stuff fails fast. I genuinely don't know what's safe. I just installed one the other day. They brought in, I'll show you the box. They brought in a roll of Ultravision. It was on a Cadillac. It went fine. After I had it installed, it started to curl away, so it just needed a little bit more like babying. Blocked out about as much heat. Not as good as C2, not as good as Apex. It's like old Carbon Plus. But they paid $300 for the film. I did sign up as a to see what pricing would be and everything. And it looks like dealers just get 25% off or something like that. So it's still expensive. But for people that gotta have that look, some of them will pay it. Charged $200 for installation, and I bought it for $3. So fucking $500 on that windshield. I was quoted 200 pounds on the rear windows and 300 for the windshield. In Chameleon. Yeah, I don't know. This box over here. This is what they brought in. This was, I think, 8 feet. Looked like 8 feet long. I still have some left over. But this was $300. Imagine fucking that up. Imagine getting a hair right in the middle that you can't get rid of, and then it's just like completely fucked up. Okay, so that's the battery indicator. That's 10%. 10% left. What's graphene? Graphene was like an alternative, and supposedly the next thing to ceramic. It's not really in the window film space like it is in the detailing space. But just another material. Another material to throw in there. I think it was largely a buzzword though. Any review on rock rose? It's cheap, and I saw a post of it failing really quickly. I'd have no interest of trying it. I mean, what everybody wants me to do is find a dirt cheap roll of film, put it on a car, and say it's amazing. That's what we all want. We all want to spend nothing on materials and get an amazing product. Look at that barbecue spatula. Hey, that's the bulldozer. This is the stroke doctor. How much for ceramic tint? Like to buy a roll or to put on a car? And what car and what windows? Have you tried the fuchsia squeegee from Tri-Edge? Yes. I'm a big fan of all of them. I use this one for cleaning. I sometimes use this one. I was using it for a while just to get a good feel for this one versus the blue. Blues in the middle, even the hard one isn't really that hard. I prefer this though a little bit more, but they're a bit interchangeable. I can be using this one all day, be happy. Use this one all day, be happy with them. They're super, super nice. Do you ever have issues with water going behind the dash? It's definitely happened to me. I keep things covered with a towel. I tuck a towel all the way in there. I haven't had any real issues since I've done that. I had a handful of random ones before we started doing, because for a long time and like before the soak rope, we just, tinted a windshield like we did a back window and like, it's fine. And then every once in a long while we'd have an issue. But it was typically on like Chargers, Challengers, 300s, and most notable is the Rams. I remember the day I was at a shop, had a water issue on a Ram, but this was before I really knew much about the issue. I didn't know where the VCM was. I just knew that they had issues because everybody was like, oh my God, the Rams. But then we learned about it. But we did have an issue. We were just like, we would haphazardly throw a towel on the dash. We had to tint the windshield on that one twice. It just didn't turn out right the first time. And it's just like, just a lot of negligence on that one. This was years back. I worked at shops and in a lot of conditions where it wasn't ideal. I just didn't have much time. And it was just get as much work done as possible. You just didn't have, you had the same amount of time for every car, which was like an hour. This turned out super nice so far. I don't want to speak too soon. But I don't see anything. But I also like that I had a heck of a lot of space around the edges. Like, a lot of space. Oh, I gotta put the mirror back on. I kind of regret taking that off. Perfect. That shit looks really good. I'm happy with that. Now the last scary part. Oh, this was stuck back up on there. No wonder. See this? No wonder it didn't come off that easily. They just fucking, it's an aftermarket sealed and they urethane this. Oh yeah, you are right. Low battery. 3%. It's like our seat covers. I left our seat covers in so many cars. And we'd constantly make jokes like, don't forget the seat cover. And it's like, haha, I'm definitely going to forget it. And then I walk back inside and they're like, did you get the seat cover? Nope, I forgot it. It's that quick for me. Okay. There. Now I got a new battery. Shout out to Tito14 for the reminder. Yeah, no kidding. I was at 3%. I didn't need to take this one off. But I did. Because they're the twist off styles. They're not that bad to take off or put back on. But you see, it's got this sensor here. And it kind of gets in the way of the whole twist part. So, because it is chunky. Oh yeah, I did the windshield. I'm trying to put this mirror back on. Oh, shit. Aha! All right, I got it. It's not so scary. Just kidding. I didn't want to do that. For the dot matrix. Oh my god. Look at this dash. What did we do? It was like this. I'm just going to point that out. It was like that. He said it was like that. I showed it was like that. Or else I'd be like freaking out right now. Oh, I gotta publish it. Ugh. Okay. Okay, hang on. Sorry, one sec. Okay, republish. Republish. Whoopsies. For the dot matrix, do you sand it down? No. No, I do not. I have the same thing on my Sienna. And what I've found is with the gels, they don't fix it, but they help it to dry evenly. So all in here, we had gel, and when we squeegeed it, it does a really good job of holding it like airtight while it dries, and then it dried really evenly. You also want to make sure your shrinking is pretty smooth across it, but it'll dry out and look uniform. That's as good as I've got. I'm not gonna take sandpaper and try and make that better. And the other thing is, you're still, no matter what, gonna have the dots around the whole thing. So, there just really isn't a good answer for it. Especially with the time, generally what customers are fine with, like it is what it is type of situation. Use C2 ceramic or Pro Nano, and what's the difference? I use C2 ceramic. Pro Nano is a really good film. It's the color tones that are a bit off in some of the shades. They're warmer. Some people like them. Some people really like them. I think the 35 is a bit too warm, and so is the 5. C2 ceramic has been a lot more neutral. The trade-off is the performance. It's not quite as strong, but it's within an earshot. It's really good. Do you use C2? Oh yeah. How much? How much for the tint job? Front 2 doors and a windshield. This was in carbon. $250. What's your thoughts on Scorpion? I haven't seen anything super negative about them. Or anybody, to be fair, I haven't seen anything super negative about most film brands in a long time. I think some people have issues and they just don't care to post it. But we have a very large Facebook community, and a nice gauge for me for certain brands was just what people posted. Like, hey, I've been installing this film for 3 years and I just had these cars bubble and start coming back. I really haven't seen that with anybody in particular. But they were one of the companies, they lean on the cheaper end of things, where it's like, they've definitely had their fair share of not good film and not good reputation. But I haven't seen that in a long time. Is switching from Geo to an XPEL a good move? It might. You're not going to get a better film, but there's the potential that you could get higher clients and more of them because you're using them. It depends on where you are and how you run your business. Just carrying the brand is not enough, though. We charge more than an XPEL shop near us. There's a few things that they have done really well. So they have a good software program, albeit I don't know why they charge more for it now than I can get Core for as a non-dealer. That's weird to me. But they're just one of the most recognizable, if not the most recognizable film company. So in some areas that counts for a lot. They are in the Tesla app, but they've grown a lot. And if you are a good account for them, they will probably give you a lot of attention. If you aren't a big account for them, I don't know if it's regional support, but I've heard very mixed things on that. And your film costs are just going to be way higher in general. So like those are the trade-offs. You're getting the most recognizable film brand. You are not saving money. You are hopefully leveraging that to make more money. You're probably going to pay 30 to 40% more in film, I would gather. I think a roll of XR Plus is what? Just under 1,000? Apex is made to directly compete with that. So, I don't know, like it's just, some people get this and some people don't. You just need to have the right type of business for that brand. And they might do stuff that you don't like. They want everybody to be uniform, they're more controlling. They want you to only install their products. But for that, the trade-off is like, they don't do direct marketing for your shop, but there's so much more brand awareness for the company. They put a ton into marketing. They have good programs that have done more for PPF and like PPF recognition. So like they have tangible programs that are like really good to be a part of, but it's not for everybody. Does tint affect the glass or durability? Not in any negative ways. I don't think it helps it. Like, it'll make tempered ones more shatter resistant. Like they'll still shatter, but they would hold. So like if you went to pop the back window on this and it was tinted, it would still shatter, but it would hold together. Some people see that as good. He didn't want anyone else to tint his daughter's Camry. Who? What? What'd I miss? In your academy, do we train with GeoShield? Yeah. Yeah, we have their carbon. That's the class film. Scorpion software is free. I don't know how good it is. I really haven't heard many people mention it. I have to imagine they have got quite a few people using it. But yeah, I haven't either. Oh, somebody drove 3 hours to have you tint his daughter's Camry. That's awesome. Is XPEL the best ceramic film? No, I don't think so. I think they have one of the best ceramic films. But I think that like best of the best of the best is so like nitpicky and stupid that they're in a catalog with a handful of other companies on that. They don't need to have the best. All you have to do is charge like you have the best. It's brand building. That's what they've done. They've done an amazing job of it. They've done so many cool things that no other company has done. I got a lot of respect for stuff that they've done. Because so many people will, like you, ask, are they the best? While so many other companies will charge a lot for their film, and then it's hard to point at anything tangible that they've actually done. Geo is one of those companies that I obviously like them. I think they've done a lot for the mid-range. Like, they carry rock solid products that'll go toe to toe with the best. But they just don't put the same amount of money into like marketing and brand awareness and stuff like that. But for that, I save more on film. And I don't have any issues with the products. They've been great. You think tinting in a home garage affects your business, scaling your business? Yeah, absolutely. I think it's hard to scale out of a home garage, but you don't need to scale out of a home garage. You're mainly doing it for you to save on expenses. Your average customers, it depends on the area that you live, but I tinted in a home garage for a summer. I really liked it. I would still be there tinting. But the city didn't like it. But when I moved into a shop, I just got more phone calls. It's more traditional. People see a shop as a business. Not a lot of people necessarily like going to people's houses. But I think you can grow a very good business still, one that would make you happy. Oh, this is. It was rolled down when we installed it. See, this is an aftermarket piece of glass. I double cut both windows, and that one didn't line up. This is still factory. This is a Mopar. So even if I cut it off the plotter, this one would be good. That one wouldn't have fit. But we made it fit. Okie dokie. Well, I hope you guys have fun today. Things went pretty good. If you haven't watched in a little bit, we have a new website, same address, 313tint.com. If you want film or tools, you can go buy it there. We have a 5% discount code right now, 313tint. We'll save you 5% off tools. We also have an ongoing sale and a few things. So you buy 2 squeegees, you get 25% off the third. Free tool shipping over 100. Free t-shirt over 200 in tools, and then free shipping on everything over 500. So if you're buying a couple rolls of film. We have a community. It's brand new, but it's there. My whole video library is up on the site too. I'm trying to make it searchable. So you can just go like shrinking, and it'll hopefully pull up like every example to the minute that I'm doing that. I'm working on that. But we teach classes too. 313tint.com. Thank you for hanging out today. I appreciate you. We'll be live again probably tomorrow. What's coming in tomorrow? Let me see. We've got a navigator for a full width of windshield coming in tomorrow at 10 o'clock. So I will definitely be live tomorrow. And then next week we have class Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. So thank you for hanging out.